Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello friends, in today's video we are going to take a look at the new patch that has just come to Tacticus, analyse the changes that have come to the game, and take a deeper look at something big that may have escaped your attention initially. You can probably hear the excitement in my voice because that's right, the Tau faction have received a huge buff, and we're going to spend some time talking about that and the impact it could potentially have on the current game meta. As usual, timestamps and chapter markings are available, and if you skip ahead you can see my referral code which you can enter to earn yourself 100 Blackstone. Let's get into it. The first thing to do is congratulate the 3 winners of last month's giveaway, Ronald, Dennis and Tyler, all of whom are winners of 130 Eldryon shards. I've replied to all 3 of your original comments with instructions about how to claim your prize, so please check those out. For those that missed out, don't worry. I do monthly giveaways on my channel, and the next giveaway will coincide with my Dirty Dozen series next week. This month I'll be giving away Moghan Ra shards, so please keep your eyes peeled. We can start by having a look at the upcoming events in this patch. The keen-eyed amongst you will already have seen the new character portrait in-game, and this month's Battle Pass character is Shozel, the Fire Sight Marksman. This month we also have a return to the On-Shi legendary event, which comes back for its second run at the beginning of August. I'll be updating my video guide and infographics in a few weeks with more tips and tricks to help you unlock this powerful Tau legendary character. We also have 2 quest events, one for Arjak and the second for Isabella, as well as 2 runs of Tournament Arena. There's also a new character coming to the game, the second of the Dark Angels faction. Sarquael is a Hellblaster sergeant who releases via 2-week hero release event on July 16th. For those of you who are newer to the game, you spend energy and complete quests over the course of the 2 weeks in order to earn points to unlock the character. So make sure you save your Blackstone and energy in the lead up to July 16th in order to maximize your progress. Now, I don't have any more information about this character yet, but I've had a look at the Warhammer 40k tabletop rules. Hellblasters appear to be units which do heavy ranged damage with their plasma weapons, and I would therefore hypothesize that this new character will be similar. Next up we have balance changes. The Necrons have had a slew of buffs to 3 of their characters. Pictured on screen you can see buffs to their health and armor stats, most significantly for Immospec, who has also seen an improvement to his melee overwatch. The Tau have had only one character directly buffed, and that is Darkstrider. Darkstrider sees a small boost to his health stat and gains the suppressive fire trait. However, the big buff to Tau is the fact that Markerlights now affect units with the immune trait. Why is this relevant, you might ask? Well, it means that Markerlights now work on guild raid bosses. You've probably seen this slightly hyperbolic thumbnail for this video, where I called Darkstrider the King. Now, that's not completely true, but we can take a closer look and see how he compares to existing characters in the game. On the pictured table, you can see how Darkstrider compares to Eldryon, Calgar and Aethana, widely considered to be the 3 best units currently in the game for damage buffs. I've broken down each of their buffs individually to try and simplify analysis. On the first line, we can see the base bonus damage at level 50. Here you can see that Darkstrider actually gives the highest bonus damage to units affected by his buff at 997 per hit. The other side of that coin is that his range or area of effect for his buff is probably the hardest to get right because it affects only adjacent and ranged allies. Given that Darkstrider only has a range of 2, this really limits the amount of hexes that he can potentially apply his buff to, and I'll show you more on this shortly. However, what makes Darkstrider really interesting is the synergy that he has with the Tau. It's not his individual synergy of his buff per se, but the fact that the Markerlight buff adds a 15% damage boost to units affected. As you can see on this slide, this sort of buff is multiplicative rather than additive. Let's take a look at the example on screen to demonstrate this further. We can take a non-specific Tau character and say that this character does 1000 damage. However, when that Tau character attacks a Markerlight target, it now gets the faction boost of 15% damage, taking the damage dealt to 1150. However, when you start to add in further multiplicative effects, for example giving the Tau character elevation, which adds a 50% damage boost, these boosts multiply with each other. So we get 1000 damage times 1.5 for elevation and times 1.15 for Markerlight, giving you a total of 1725 damage. You can see how these damage numbers start to rise very quickly, and when the character starts to get geared more effectively, the percentage multipliers can quickly get out of control. So what does this mean for Darkstrider? We can break our analysis down into pros and cons. From a pure stat point of view, you can see on the pictured stat radar that Darkstrider has amongst the best isolated damage stats in the game, both for melee and ranged attacks. He has a powerful aura, and his application of Markerlights really allows him to excel in a Tau-based team. However, as I will show you shortly, this aura is fairly restrictive, and it's hard to get the right characters affected at all times. Darkstrider is definitely fragile defensively, and his short range can sometimes cause him to be put accidentally into melee range and have his negative close combat weakness trait applied. Darkstrider also suffers from few hits on his own attacks, meaning that he doesn't really take effective advantage of other damage buffers well, like Calgar or Eldrion. So where does that place him when all the dust settles? Clearly, we're still in the very early stages of testing, but he's not likely to displace any of the established major damage buffers in the game. That said, I'm still very pleased that Snowprint have made this change. On the surface, yes, I won't deny that I'm happy when my favourite faction get a buff. However, it shows that Snowprint are aware of the meta and player feedback and are working to make sure that players have a variety of options to approach the game with. In this slide, you can see just how difficult it is for Darkstrider's aura to be used effectively. Only Thaddeus is able to position himself on a hex that gains Darkstrider's buff, and the two other heavy hitters, Moggan Ra and Rayvas, are wasting a turn of potential benefit because they can't get into range. On the topic of the immune trait being reworked, this patch also removes the effect of razor wires on bosses. That means that razor wires no longer cause an additional 50% damage to bosses. Functionally, it looks like the immune trait is largely the same for everything else. I'm really happy with the plethora of quality of life improvements this patch. Guild Raid replays are a superb feature that allow players to share their battle in guild chat, so that members of their alliance can watch and analyse for the greater good. You can also see when an alliance mate is already in raid battle, which is another feature that we have been pining for as players. Continuing along guild themes, we can now see guild damage contributors as a list, which allows you to effectively track player damage progress retrospectively, even after the guild boss is dead. The quality of life improvements just keep on coming. If you accidentally ascend a character by pressing the shiny green button just below their character model, you now have an oops button that allows you to reset that promotion. The player cap has been increased to level 70, and guild levels have also been added to allow more damage through guild bombs. I'm not going to read through everything on this slide, but you can see that Snowprint have really focused on getting things right and improving player experience this patch. Some of you have asked what the reworked shop part means. Basically, the real-life cash offers that are available time to time on the main page have been reworked to be more faction-specific and relevant to the stage of the game that you're at. Still to come this patch are 2 new Thousand Suns characters. They will be released via the Saim Han campaign and will allow you to unlock 2 as of yet unnamed characters. You can see the character images on screen, and if you're familiar with Warhammer 40k, you probably already know who they are. Right, that's all for now folks, short and sweet, just the way you all like it. If you've enjoyed this video, you can pop the Refer a Friend code pictured on screen to earn yourself 100 Blackstone, and to support me in continuing the work that I do. It's a one-time use sort of thing, but it really goes a long way in supporting me, and thank you if you're somebody who's done that in the past. I'll be doing my usual Dirty Dozen video, hopefully next week, and there I'll be telling you the top 12 characters in the game, as well as giving away some Moggan Ra shards, so please be sure to check back and leave a comment. Finally, if you're looking for a new guild, we're always recruiting in the Pants of Horus cluster, and continue to be successful in all of our guilds. Drop by via Discord link in the video description below. Thanks guys, bye for now.
Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi.